We're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. And this is Madhya-lila, chapter 14, performance of the Vrindaban pastimes. And what performance of the Vrindaban pastimes is, first, this is after the Rath Yatra. 5 days later, they have Lakshmi Vijay or Hera Panchami. And then Lakshmi Devi comes on a pelican, and she's very angry because Jagannath has supposedly just left for a few hours to go on the Rath car, but he didn't return for many days. And then Lakshmi goes there on a pelican, and she chastises all the servants of Jagannath and tells them, the servants, to bring Jagannath to me. And they said, yes, we'll bring him the next day, he'll be here. So I'll start with verse number 233. Lakshmi Devi, and then during this time, Srivas Thakur, who has the mood of Narad Muni, he becomes overwhelmed by the Aishvarya Gyan of Vaikuntha, and he talks about, just see how opulent my Lakshmi is. What do they have in Vrindaban? Vrindaban, they just have some cows and some peacock feathers and some gunjamala, but nothing really special. And then Mahaprabhu says to Srivas Thakur, who's showing the mood of Narad Muni, he says, you become overwhelmed by the opulence of Vaikuntha. But Swarup Damodar, he's a pure devotee of Vrindaban, so he'll talk about the glories of Vrindaban. So he talks about how all the touchstone and all the dust in Vrindaban is Chintamani money. Chintamani, the most valuable jewels. All the trees are kalpabriksha, all the cows are kamadhenus. The gopis are more than the goddess of fortune. They're all Lakshmis. So then when he hears the glories of Vrindaban, then Srivas Thakur dances and he makes sounds with his. So now I'll say, verse number 233. Lakshmi Devi Jatakale Gela Nijagar Prabhu Nitya Kore Hoilan Tritiya Prahar. Finally, the goddess of fortune returned to her apartment. In due course of time, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, afternoon arrived. Chari Sambradaya Gana Kore Bahu Shranta Hoila Mahaprabhu Primavesha Dviguna Barila. After much singing, all four Sankirtan parties grew fatigued, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love increased twofold. Radha Primavesha Prabhu Hoila Sri Murti Nityananda Durideki Korilena Stuti. While dancing absorbed in Srimati Radharani's ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in her very form. Seeing this from a distant place, Nityananda Prabhu offered prayers. Nityananda Dekiya Prabhu Bhavavesh Nikatena Aishe Rohe Kichu Duradesh. Seeing the ecstatic love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu did not approach but remained a little distance away. So Nityananda is Balaram, and Balaram has the mood of Vatsalya Ras, but Radha Krishna, that's Madhura Ras, and Vatsalya Ras and Madhura Ras, they don't mix so well. So that's Rasabas. So Nityananda stays a little bit away. Nityananda Bina Prabhu Ke Dore Konjan Prabhura Aveshana Chai Narohe Kirtan. Only Nityananda Prabhu could catch Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the ecstatic mood of the Lord would not stop. At the same time, kirtan could not be continued because everyone was too tired. But Mahaprabhu is ecstatic and he continues dancing and dancing, but everyone's very, very fatigued. So Bangi Kore Swarup Sabar Shrama Janardan Bhakti Ganer Shramadeki Prabhu Rabaya Hoila. Swarup Damodar then informed the Lord that all the devotees were fatigued. Seeing the situation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his external senses. Sab Bhakta Loya Prabhu Gela Pushpodhyane Vishrama Koreya Koila Madhya-lila Snane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then entered the flower garden with all his devotees. After resting there for some time, he took his afternoon bath. So they're in Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu, his afternoon bath, he usually goes into the ocean and bathes in the ocean. Also when Siddhanti Maharaj was here, he used to bathe in the ocean. Because there's no Ganga in Jagannath Puri, you go bathe in the ocean. Jagannatara Prasad Aila Bahu Upahar Lakmira Prasad Aila Vivida Prakar. Originally we were going to go to the beach today.
Is it the beach?
Yeah, we were originally going there, but I don't know now because the ocean has been very heavy. They have what they call power waves going on.
Yeah.
And two Hindu girls were sleeping on the beach and they were carried off into the ocean and they died. So it's not a good, I was thinking maybe it's not a good idea to go late at night when there's no lifeguards and stuff. The ocean is really, heavy.
Yeah, nighttime at the beach is not so good with little kids, but
Yeah.
we went there yesterday.
What?
We went yesterday just for a walk. It wasn't bad, but it was, I think that little kids should.
Well, here it says Mahaprabhu would bathe in the ocean. I went in the ocean at Jagannath Puri. It was very heavy, kind of could pull you way out. And even if you're only in water up to your waist, you could feel the ocean pulling your legs out from underneath you. And Paramadwaiti Maharaj, he told me once that he was there and the ocean pulled him out almost a mile or a long ways out to the ocean. But he's a good swimmer. He just floated on his back, then he came back. But I'm not a good swimmer, so it seemed very heavy. As soon as I felt like the ocean pulling me, because I could feel that if I lost my balance, then it would pull me out. So then I got out of the ocean. And that's why I was thinking maybe it's not a good idea to have the devotees go in the ocean tonight. Because it's been the ocean's been very heavy lately.
I think we're going to a river instead.
What? A river, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Rivers don't pull you out to the sea.
Unless you're in the mountains. Right, yeah.
Jagannatara Prasadayala Bahu Pahar Lakmira Prasadayala Vivida Prakar. Then there arrived in large quantities a variety of food that had been offered to Sri Jagannath and a variety that had been offered to the goddess of fortune, to Lakshmi. Sabloya Nana Range Korela Bojan Sandhya Snana Kore Koila Jagannatha Darshan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished his afternoon lunch, and after his evening bath, he went to see Lord Jagannath. Jagannath Deki Koran Nartana Kirtan Narendra Jala Krida Korel Loya Bhaktigan. As soon as he saw Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to chant and dance. Afterward, accompanied by his devotees, the Lord enjoyed sporting in the lake called Narendra Sarovara. Ujjane Asiya Koila Banabojan Emata Krita Koila Prabhu Ashtadin. Then, entering the flower garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his meal. In this way, he continuously performed all kinds of pastimes for 8 days. Aradine Jagannatera Bhitara Vijay Rata Chari Jagannatha Chale Nijaloy. The next day, Lord Jagannath came out from the temple and riding on the car returned to his own abode. So this is the Purna Ratha Yatra, after Lord Jagannath returns. So Govinda Maharaj used to ask us questions, and he didn't give the answers, but he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing during the Ratha Yatra in the mood of Radharani, wanting to take Krishna to Vrindaban. Wants to take Krishna back to Vrindaban. So that we can understand. He's going to Gundicha, he's going to Vrindaban, he's dancing. But then Govinda Maharaj said, but Mahaprabhu is also dancing during the Purna Ratha Yatra, when supposedly they're going from Gundicha, which is Vrindaban, back to Nilachala, which is Jagannath Puri, which is Dwarka. So why would Mahaprabhu be dancing during that? But he didn't say the answer. But then I saw when Balabhadra Bhattacharya and other devotees were with Mahaprabhu in Vrindaban, and they were thinking that Mahaprabhu would hurt himself because he would always roll on the ground, roll on thorns, and submerge himself in the Jamuna. He was so deep in ecstasy. So they decided they had to take Mahaprabhu out of Vrindaban because he was getting too deep, absorbed into, forgetting the whole world and entering in his pastime. So they gave the excuse, well, we want to go to Prayag to go see the Kumbh Mela. And there he met Rupa Goswami, who had come from Ramakeli. But it says there that just the thought that Mahaprabhu had to leave Vrindaban, he was also in ecstasy. So I was thinking, that's the answer. Why Mahaprabhu was dancing during the Purna Ratha Yatra? Because just thinking that he's leaving Vrindaban, Mahaprabhu would be in ecstasy. So, anyway, Purva, I thought that was maybe something of an answer. Something. Purvavat Koila Prabhu Loya Bhaktagan Paramanande Koran Nartana Kirtan. As previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees chanted and danced with great pleasure. See, they're dancing, even though Jagannath's going back to Dwarka, because he's there in Nilachala. Anyway. Jagannathera Puna Pandu Vijay Hoila E Guti Patadori Taha Tutigela. During the Pandu Vijay, Lord Jagannath was carried, and while he was being carried, a bunch of silken ropes broke. That's when they carried Jagannath, and they put out all these, they carry him by tying so that people can carry Jagannath. It's really heavy. They put silken ropes around him, and they're carrying Jagannath, and at intervals they put him down on a silk pillow, so because they can't. It's very heavy. So while he was being carried, a bunch of silken ropes broke. So then Pandu Vijayara Tuli Fati Futi Jai Jagannathara Bari Tula Udiyapalai. While the Jagannath deity is carried at intervals, he is placed on cotton pads. When the ropes broke, the cotton pads also broke due to the weight of Lord Jagannath, and the cotton floated into the air. Kulina Grami Ramananda Satya Rajakan Tari Agyadila Prabhu Korea Saman. Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan were present from Kulinagram, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with great respect, gave them the following orders. Epata Dorir Tumi How Jajaman Prati Batsara Anibe Dori Korea Nirman. Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan to become the worshippers of these ropes, and every year bring silken ropes from their village. It is understood that silken rope was being manufactured by the local inhabitants of Kulinagram. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj to get robes every year for Lord Jagannath's service. He was saying, these robes are breaking, they're too weak, so bring better silken robes. Tell us that. Eta bole dila tare chinda patadori ihadeki koribe gori ate drivakori. After telling them, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed them the broken silken robes, saying, just look at this sample. You must make robes that are much stronger. Ekpate dorite hoy seish adishtan dashamurte hoye jeho Seva Bhagavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then informed Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan that this rope was the abode of Lord Sesha, who expands himself into 10 forms and serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavan Satyaraj, Vasu Ramananda, Seva Agya Paya Hoila Parama Ananda. After receiving orders from the Lord for the rendering of service, the fortunate Satyaraj and Ramananda Vasu were highly pleased. Pratibatsara Gundichate Bhaktagan Sange Patadori Loya Aishe Ate Borarange. Every year thereafter, when the Gundicha temple was being cleansed, Satyaraj and Ramananda Vasu would come with the other devotees and with great pleasure bring silken robe. Tabe Jagannath Jai Basilas Simasane Mahaprabhu Gare Aila Loya Bhaktagane. Thus Lord Jagannath returned to his temple and sat on his throne while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence with his devotees. E Mata Bhaktagane Jatra Dekaila Bhaktagana Loya Vrindavana Keli Koila. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the Ratha Yatra ceremony to his devotees. Thus Mahaprabhu showed the Ratha Yatra ceremony to his devotees and performed the Vrindaban pastimes with them. Chaitanya Gosar Lila Ananta Par Sahasrabharana Jara Nahi Pai Par. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are unlimited and endless. Even Sahasrabharana, Lord Sesha, cannot reach the limits of his pastimes. Sri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, 14th chapter, describing the performance of the Vrindaban pastimes and the Hera Panchami Yatra. So that's the end of chapter 14 of the Madhya-lila. Now we'll sing Hari Haraya.
So I was so late and I missed everything. Okay, sorry.
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes it starts at 8. Sometimes it starts at 8:30. Sometimes it starts at 9. Sometimes it starts at 9:30.
Just have to be ready.
Well, I don't know. And sometimes it doesn't happen. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Srimati Sriram Giridhari Gopinath Swarup Sanatan Bhaktavaruna Seva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Rabuna Jai Gosai Kori Charana Banda Jao Ekse Vignana Sabista Puram Jai Gosai Jarmui Sasavar Padarenu Mora Padar Chana Sevi Bhakti Sanima Janame Janame More Abhila Krishna Nitya Lila Koriya Pratan Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhara Juki Jai. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami Panihati Chir Doi Mahotsav Ki Jai. Sripad Bhakti Chandan Parvat Maharaj's Divine Disappearance Day Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramansa Bharavajaka Charyashta Tata Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramansa Bharavajaka Charyashta Tata Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramansa Bharavajaka Charyashta Tata Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Dhara Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem se go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Jai Vishwaparena Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Vishaka Devi Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sripad Bhakti Raman Madhav Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Youth Camp Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Jai. Sripad Srila Parvat Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.